All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. My name is Brian. I'm here with Alison. This is Maintaining Frame number 246. Women want men, women most affected. Sorry for the late start. It was Alison, not me.
Yes. No,
Um,
I had a progression of things like we have dental appointments today, so I had a bunch of stuff I needed to get ready for, and everything took longer. And then we had a little bit of a doggo emergency, and then the camera crapped out. So yeah, it's on my end as it usually is. But I do want to point out that this is Rant Zerker, not Maintaining Frame,
oh, is it
according
Rant
to the
Zerker?
title. Yeah, you put the title in as Rant Zerker.
Hold on a second. You're right.
Yeah.
Shit, I
Yeah.
gotta change the number. It's okay. I'll
It's
change it to Maintaining Frame. Not a big deal.
For a moment, I
It's okay.
wasn't the worst thing about Honey Badger Radio, but
Yeah, but
I've
I'm fixing
returned to
that right
things.
now, and I've apologized and acknowledged it too. So you are still the worst thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 165.
All right.
Okay.
And once we okay, while Brian is fixing that, why don't I do the things? Feedthebadger.com/just the tip if you want to send us a tip and a message. Feedthebadger.com/support if you want to support the show. And once again, we are having a meetup in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, September 13th of this year. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, it's feedthebadger.com/events to keep track of all the details. You will have to send a email if you want to know the venue, because I don't want the usual suspects to catch wind of this and turn it
Who are the
into
usual suspects?
the usual suspects would be the feminists and other ne'er do
Oh, so they
wells.
don't try to take us out.
Yeah, like again, like for the third time. First time was
Yeah.
successful. Second time not so successful, but a pinch of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So feedthebadger.com/event or events if you want to keep track of our meetup. It looks like it might be a lot of fun. And fair amount of people seem to be joining up. Are joining up. So once again,
Awesome.
feedthebadger.com/. I mean, it's not going to be huge, right? But it'll be fun. The last one was fun. It was very relaxing. Everyone was calm. It was nice to be around people who weren't insane like the rest of the world. And so feedthebadger.com/just the tip to send us a message. Feedthebadger.com/support to support us. Feedthebadger.com/events. There's a theme here to find out more about our event. And that also has a link to our online, to our Discord community if you're interested in that. And it's all in the low bar as well. So I'm done. Shall we begin?
Sure. So we're going to be looking at this article that's been making the rounds called The Trouble with Wanting Men. Let me display it really quick. Hold on a second here so you guys in the vertical can see it. And it was written by Jean Garnett. It is painfully long, but again, I'll just give you
good Lord. Good Lord.
You didn't know? You didn't know?
I listened to the whole thing, like when I was doing my little respondable animation.
Yeah.
I listened to all of it. I'm like, what is this drivel? This is embarrassing.
I mean, it's like this is where we are now. This is how feminine everything has become. There has to be a massive story, even when you're trying to make some kind of social, political, or cultural point, instead of just making that point, huh?
Even on the level of story, this fails.
Well, sure, but it doesn't.
This is ejaculating atmosphere.
Yeah, but I mean, if I wanted to learn something about the world, mechanically speaking, I don't want a story. Just tell me what's going on. I don't care if it's really well written. I feel like there's something deceptive happening inherently if you're telling me a story. If you're giving me this weaving this tale that's an anecdote of something that you've experienced, I'm going to think that you're lying to me. That's just the way I work. Maybe that's a man thing. Just give me the data. That's all I care about. So here's the title. It's called The Trouble with Wanting Men. Women are so fed up with dating men that the phenomenon even has a name, heterofatalism. So what do we do with our desire? Totally made up word, by the way, guys. Have you noticed that feminists like making up words? I think I've said this a few times. They take this word, this thing, that thing, put it together, call it a new word, and then all of a sudden it makes their crazy ass beliefs academic. So
yeah, no, I did get it, and yeah, certainly, it is a thing that they do. Like
yeah.
they're delivering the patina of academic authority to their emotions about things, which is not how it's supposed to work, but apparently it does, because academia refuses to actually call feminists out on anything. All right, let's
All right.
shall we
So
do
we're
the
gonna
animation
we're
or
gonna
the
listen to this.
good, I didn't do it in vain.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like I said, this is like a half-hour long video. So I
Yes.
don't know how much of this we're gonna get through, but it's done in a narrative style. And like I said, it's very long, but there is like a final sort of conclusion. So if we need to like cut to the chase, we can do that too. So
Yeah, we'll give them a sense of the absolute state of I mean, I know that she won't care, that she seems to have zero understanding of men, but she's also a terrible writer.
mm-hmm.
It's just ponder. You know what? I actually was reading this and listening to this, and there's certain points I'm like, is this AI? Is this AI?
No, it's just NPCs.
Oh, are you
A little
sure?
bit
Because there's
different.
some phrasing here that's so okay. Well, let's
She
let's hear it.
might I think it's a human person that might have used AI to help her write this. That's
Yeah, yeah,
possible.
that's probably the way it went. Okay, let's listen to
Yeah,
this.
that's my guess. All right. So let's go.
Trouble with wanting men. Women are so fed up with dating men that the phenomenon even has a name: heterofatalism. So what do we do with our desire? By Jean Garnett, July 21st, 2025. The stranger arrived at the bar before I did, as I intended him to, and was waiting for me at a table in back. He had the kind of face I like, and he had been a little difficult to pin down, delayed in his responses, which I also like. The place was loud with the having fun sounds people make when they expect to have fun.
What
Wait a
is
minute now.
that phrasing? The place was loud with the having fun sounds? Are
She
you
thinks she's
like
clever.
yeah,
It
I was
sounds
like,
like an
is this
alien observing
AI?
human behavior, but I think that she thinks
Mm.
it's really funny to write yourself as something completely divorced from the rest of the world. Like you're like, well, I'm here with the weird humans and they're doing human things, but they don't understand me. It's like the guy standing in the corner at the party, you know. Little
That
do they
meme?
know that the meme, yeah, that's and there's a bit of an let's say vanity in that, but I do think that
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Back to this.
So we were leaning in to hear each other. His hair, I thought, would be good to put my hands in. There comes a time, usually, when a few extra beats of eye contact are enough. We passed through these beats, took each other's wrists, and met across the table, which was wide enough to frustrate kissing in the right way, keeping the rest of us well apart. Back at my place, he was a little shy, I thought, or a little out of practice, but I felt he wanted me, which was what I wanted, to be organized and oriented by his desire, as though it were a point on the dark horizon, strobing. I was really looking forward to seeing you again. He texted me the following week, around lunchtime, but I'm going through some intense anxiety today and need to lay low. Totally understand, I replied, but I didn't. Feeble, fallible looking forward is not longing. A man should want me urgently or not at all.
Okay.
Collapse
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So the guy has anxiety disorder of some kind, presumably, or at least thinks he does. And she's judging him because he's not her romantic ideal of the constantly ready stud. Oh, he's a human being. Like, all right, this is the problem. These women do not realize or can't handle the fact that there's a human being attached to the penis.
Yeah.
Can't handle that. It blows their mind because they objectify men to that degree. And everything in her sentence is all about how, he made her feel, nothing about any kind of how her physical desire, not just how he feels. No emotional compatibility, no compatibility in terms of ethics or hobbies or anything. Everything was just reduced down to the purely physical. And then the moment she realized, oh hey, there's an actual human being attached to this potential sexual experience. Do not want, eject. Like, her problem is she is a sexual predator. Well, I mean, maybe she's consent. I don't even know how she could conceive of consent, because she doesn't conceive of her male sexual partners as human beings. Right? They're just sexual outlets. And she probably wonders why she doesn't have relationships.
Well,
Because
she does. She's
she
like
does.
we'll get into it later, but she's married, or was. She's in the midst of a divorce. And this is like a date she's having after the divorce, or like while the divorce is in progress. But the thing that struck me when I read this was that her whole way of let's say evaluating her date was all based on this kind of like airy fairy blurry stuff that's happening that she likes because it's so vague and obscure, like where she says, we passed through these beats, took each other's wrists and met across the table, which was wide enough to frustrate kissing in the right way. So to frustrate engagement in a way that is to her right, keeping the rest of us well apart. Back at my place he was a little shy, I thought, or a little out of practice, but I felt he wanted me, which is what I wanted, to be organized and oriented by his desire, as though it were a point on the dark horizon strobing. So there's like this, I want him to want me but not do anything, but I want to feel like something could happen. It's incredibly frustrating. And then she's like, oh, his hair, it'd be nice to put my hand in his hair, but she's not going to do it. So it's like there's all of this, like waiting for him to take some initiative, but not too much. And that's that's throughout the whole thing. So no wonder he's anxious. Like, well, if he like oversteps, what happens? I don't think he's got an anxiety disorder. I think he's a normal guy.
It's just her.
I think this woman is a fucking lunatic. That's what I think. That guy's just normal. He's like aware of what is it? What year is it? 2025? Me Too still going on? What happened to that guy that said something to that girl in the office and lost his job? Yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm going to be very, very protective of myself. So, I mean, this woman's writing just says it all. It's all about like, she wants to have a degree of control over the chaos of whatever the moment is. Like there's, the chaos of when you're on a date with someone and you don't know like where the boundaries are at. She likes that. She likes that the boundaries are undefined and that like the men are like trying to figure them out, but she's also ready if they go too far. So this is like an impossible situation. It's an impossible, it's like some kind of Greek punishment by the gods, It's like having your guts eaten out by a vulture every day and then they grow back. That it's impossible, but this is what she wants. These are the people you should avoid like the plague. That's all I'm saying. She's nothing but red flags.
But the other thing is that again, I would like to reiterate, she reduces him down to a sexual object in her passion play. And you're right, it's this he is expected to desire her, but there's no consideration for any aspect of who he is as a person.
Not at all. No, none of that comes up, I don't think.
Yeah. All right.
Let's listen to some more.
Into a ritual of frustrated horniness, fantasy, masturbation, snacks, when a friend urged me to join her and 2 other women for dinner. Of course he has anxiety, said one of them, a therapist, who sat across from me at the restaurant. That's life. That's being alive and going to meet someone you don't know well. Yeah.
Okay.
Said the woman
just
beside her.
Maybe increase the speed so we get through this to sometime this universe before the heat death of the universe.
Yeah. All right. So she has a friend who's a therapist that says anxiety is just life, which is basically another way of saying just deal with it, guys. Yeah, you might offend her and lose your job or go to jail, get beat up by police, or like, white knights that are in the vicinity. But fuck it. Be a man, suck it up, take the risk. And that's life, man. This is a therapist, by the way, according to her. This is why men don't go to therapy.
A historian. It's called sexual tension. Stay with it for a minute, and you might get some. They can't, said my friend with triumphant disgust. She told us about a woman she knew who was dating a man from another city. After weeks of saying, I can't wait to see you, the man ghosted her during his actual visit. His explanation later? He'd been too anxious. Aw, poor baby, cried the historian, and we all cooed and moaned for the poor little fraidy cat boo-boo, working ourselves into a frenzy.
You
Yeah.
guys are absolute assholes. Like, you 3 or 4 or however many, and then this is a therapist too. You're just reprehensible human beings. And I can tell you what actually happened with that guy. He sensed that you are a reprehensible human being, and he ghosted you because he didn't want to spend any time with you. And he said, "Oh, I was too anxious," because he's trying to flatter your gigantic, like Jabba the Hutt sized ego. Probably so he didn't avoid any kind of blowback. That's the other thing. Like these women are like volcanoes ready to explode all over a man, and they wonder why men are anxious. Like you know that there's this new app called T. Did you
I've
talk?
heard
You talked
about it, but I don't know anything about it.
Essentially, it was created by a gay man whose mother somehow always ended up texting criminals. And he said, he has created an app, and this is probably the iteration of where women can rate their dates anonymously.
Awesome. I'm sure that's good for society.
Just let's facilitate more.
I'm sure that's going to continue to have men go to play the field.
But but seriously, Brian, what we need today in this world is another instrument of women's relational aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Surely that will make dating better. Ugh, good grief.
Yep.
And actually, as a result of finding out about that app, I learned about West End Caleb. Did you hear about West End Caleb? Apparently, he was a man who had sex with a woman and didn't give her a relationship, and then she spread rumors through a TikTok video, and then it went viral, and this poor dude's like being doxxed and all for having sex with a woman and then not having the relationship she wanted with him. Playing the field, which I thought was okay. Like I thought I thought hookup culture was the way to go. I guess it is for women, but on the other hand, if they want to take somebody that they've hooked up with and turn it into a relationship, 100% the man shouldn't have an opinion on that. He should just go with what the woman wants. And if he doesn't, he's going to be socially ostracized and have his name smeared. They were even there was a Slate article. They were discussing about what kind of punishment he should have. And then the Slate article concluded by saying the women that he hurt by having sex with them and not having a relationship with them, the women that they hurt because of the public nature of this vilification of this man, they were once again victimized by not being able to choose his punishment. Punishment for what? Having consensual sex with you? Like,
Yeah.
And so and now these men are being socially smeared in this article for not having sex. For being like, no, I'm not interested. You're right, Brian. This is like some kind of horribly tragic Greek torture enacted forever and ever and ever. And women won't take any responsibility for the absolute crusty mess they've made of dating. It's
Yeah,
all men. Oh, honey boo
it's
boo, you're
always men.
afraid. You're afraid of all of the shit we can do to you if you disappoint us. You're afraid of the fact that we'll smear your name, get you fired and doxxed. You're afraid of the fact that we could get you jailed. Oh, honey boo. Oh, sweet. Ugh. These women, they they haven't done anything illegal, but the world would be a better place if they were forced to remain indoors at all times and not allowed to speak in public. And yet, what happens here? The Times gives them a platform for this woman's unbelievable drivel. It's not just morally reprehensible. It's also terrible writing. It's drivel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else we can say about this.
I mean, it is drivel, but let's keep going. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
To man up and expletive us. We were 4 women at a vegan restaurant in downtown.
Okay, I'll read that again. So, all poor baby, cried the historian, and we all cooed and moaned for the poor widow, fraidy cat boo boo, working ourselves into a frenzy of laughter over men's inability to, quote, man up and fuck us, end quote. We were four women at a vegan restaurant in downtown Manhattan. There's your problem right there. We knew that what show we were in, and we couldn't help but wonder in a smug, chauvinistic way, where were the men who could handle the hard stuff, like leaving the house for sex? So it's the
Well,
men's
that was
fault
Caleb.
that these women
That
are
was
failures.
that was West End Caleb. And
Yeah.
West End Caleb, he got his name smeared. He became a viral sensation, condemnation by a bunch of harassing women, right? And maybe West End Caleb decided it wasn't worth it anymore.
Men all
And
over are deciding that.
yeah,
Really.
this
Yeah.
is what's freaking hilarious. These women want to have more and more and more power to punish men for getting it wrong, and then shame men for being anxious about getting it wrong. They deserve the sociopaths. 100%. They deserve the Wade Wilsons.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Manhattan. We knew what show we were in, and we couldn't help but wonder, in a smug, chauvinistic way, where were the men who could handle hard stuff? Like leaving the house for sex? The therapist mused about the anxiety of needing to justify the phallus. She said, from the child's point of view, it's like, I get what mom is for. But what are you for? What's the point of your thing? This sent us miming confrontations with imaginary members. Who invited you? What's your deal? Are you lost? Which led to wisecracks about the not-so-precision scalpel of the surgeon the therapist was seeing. Privately,
I hope you left her. You are disgusting people. And the fact is that you feel free to say this shit in public. It just says volumes about our society. Like, can
Yeah,
you imagine
it's
a
women
group
women
of
can
men?
basically just dog on men anywhere and people will just be okay with it.
Yeah, could you imagine a group of
And
men
yet they
doing this?
claim that we live in a
Dogging?
patriarchy that oppresses women. Yeah.
Just dogging on women in public. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Women dogging men in public?
No, men dogging women in public like this.
Yeah, not unless it's deserved, and even then, I think it's usually just like a private matter. But I think that like gossiping about people, men don't generally do that. Some do, but I don't think it's popular with men. But anyway, yeah. So when she said we know what show we're in, she's referring to Sex and the City.
Yeah.
So
well, let me tell you something. I actually watched the original Sex and the City, and I know this is going to sound horrible, but it wasn't that bad, especially compared to writing today. Have you ever watched Sex and the City?
No, it's of no interest to me.
Yeah, well, I watched it because once again, Richard Beer has made a request. And so I'm watching it with the writers group because we can glean stuff from bad writing, what to avoid. It's actually pretty it's pretty useful to look at stuff that failed more than stuff that succeeds in order to know what to avoid. But the original Sex and the City, the characters in Sex and the City, they didn't necessarily have self-awareness, but the writer did. So and there was moments of self-awareness. So it was like almost like a less mean-spirited ab fab. So these women would be saying things and then doing the opposite, like they'd be doing the opposite, and it would be, so they would show off the hypocrisy of it, a lot of their attitudes. So it had this kind of subtle critique to it, which I'm sure flew over the head of many of the women watching it, and most certainly the women of this generation who have the media literacy of a piece of lint. But so it's not as bad as people think, because it does have a critique of the shallowness of female culture in it. And the reboot does not, though. It's completely flattened. It's
well, maybe
awful.
the point, because like, when did that show come on?
It came out in the 90s.
Right. So what was our society like in the 90s when it comes to women compared to today?
We
Like, I
were
mean,
willing
I could
to
easily tell
acknowledge.
you women are way, way, way crazier than they were. Not that they weren't crazy in the 90s, but they're way crazier now than they were. And I think that the nudging, it was about the nudging. It wasn't about explicitly saying that men are trash.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't do that and be successful, but you had to nudge. You had to do little tiny baby steps, and that's what they did. That's why Sex in the City looks like freaking awesome TV compared to TV today. Because
Well, okay, I'm gonna because I actually watched it. I don't
Mhm.
know what later seasons, because I only watched the first 2 episodes, but the women were just as bad as the men, if not worse, because they were hypocritical
Right,
in Sex in the City.
sure.
So, I mean, and
But okay, they were just as bad, but they remained likable characters, right? Because you had to keep going
yeah,
back
well,
to
so
the
were the
show to
men
watch it
too.
over and over. Well,
Yeah,
sure. So like
some
you,
of them were likable. Like, I don't know if there's likable. I guess.
I
I
mean, if you
guess.
think about it, like, who gets to continue to have their story told when this is going on, and even when they make, they do terrible things or they make big mistakes, there's a bit of redemption and then it moves on. But then that thing that they did that's really bad loses a little bit of its sting over time, because the people watching, they're conditioned to think of them as decent people anyway. And then, like, they can do it a little bit more, and they can do it a little bit more, and they can do it a little bit more, and we normalize this a little bit more over time, so that today you said that when they did the remake it was bad, but like, if you were
It
someone who was
was
conditioned with this, you're going
it
to
was
see it as
bad.
more of the, so and so is just up to her old shenanigans
No, no,
again, and
no.
that,
It was even the female fans of the original thought this was bad, and it was bad because there was none of the subtle critique.
mm-hmm.
It was unbelievably bland, and chock a block with woke crap. Like, one of the characters in the reboot was a gender fluid lesbian of some kind,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
I
was
remember
just
that.
yeah, it lost any of its social critique. And honestly, if I were to, I can only make this statement on the first 2 episodes. If there was any social critique going on, it was social critique of women. Maybe a little bit of men, but much more of women. And for whatever reason, that had an audience in the 90s. But in the reboot, everything is so weirdly sexual at the same time as like hallmarky. Like, everything is like a
Mm-hmm.
Hallmark card. Everybody talks in Hallmark card ease, and it's just like any merit of the original is gone. And there are a lot of the original female audience that is really upset over that, because it's just terrible writing, and they're hate watching it because it's terrible writing. And it's just good to know that the general loss of quality in writing craft is also harming women's intellectual properties as well. They're suffering too, Brian. It's not just men.
Yeah,
Because
I
they're
gotta sue.
suffering from a lack of they're suffering from a lack of merit in writing craft. Everyone is.
I got a couple of super chows I should read. I
Sure,
meant to read
sure.
one at the beginning of the show, but I just got another one. So Richard Bier gave us $5 and said this was yesterday at 9:22. It was after Alison or Hannah show. Given how many parents so willingly hopped on board the gender ideology bandwagon, I would say that some adults are either more vulnerable to the brainwashing tactics or perhaps due to marketing, they are pursuing the latest fashionable trend. Just like a redneck can't just walk past the bass boats at the bass pre-shops stores because the boats have the glitterfish clear coat on the hull. And it
Glitter
being a
finish.
marketed, huh?
He says glitter. I guess glitterfish is
Glitter
cute, but it's
finish
glitter
clear
finish.
coat on the hull, yeah. Like and it being a marketed fashionable trend means that those on this path are in for a brutal rug pull when a marketing meeting decides that the gender ideology is no longer the hip, hot, and happening thing anymore and comes up with something else to replace it with. Part of that will be how those lifetime patients are so yesterday and no longer worthy of attention and affirmation. Okay, that was, I know, completely out of context. It was yesterday. I don't really have the full context either because despite managing the stream, I wasn't listening to what the conversation was. So I'm sorry. Then Richard Beer gives us $5 today and says, the way this is opening is reminding me about the interview that Alison had with that one particular columnist in Saskatoon. The article sounds like the writer is trying to write a novel or a chapter of a novel as an article.
Yep. That's exactly what she's trying to be the next Sex in the City, except she doesn't have the self-awareness to write at least the original. And she doesn't have the blandness to write the new one.
Well, that's the thing too. A
God,
lot
the
of
new
these
one.
aspiring journalists and editorial writers, they want to be They want to be fiction writers. So
Yep.
they try to use every opportunity to, to write an opinion piece and make it into something of a piece of literature. And of course, they're not good at it. So, all right, back to this.
I am quite susceptible to penis. Like, I worry that in some Hobbesian state of nature I might just automatically kneel to the prettiest one. But lately I have been bruised by the ambivalence of men, how they can first want me and then become confused about what they want, and this body-diminishing humor soothed me, made me feel more powerful, more in control. When did the men get so anxious about desire? Asked the therapist. And I said I didn't know. Yes, you do, my friend said. It was when they were put on notice that they can't just get drunk and grope us. I haven't been dating long. Just the other day, my ex-husband and I received our judgment of divorce as an email attachment, but long enough to discover that I have a type. He is...
All right, I'm pausing it there for a second.
Okay,
So her
so they
friend said
understand.
it's when, the Me Too movement is why she knows that the Me Too movement is why men are not approaching women. And there's no sympathy for that because they should do it anyway. So,
Yep. Well, they're not going to. It's done.
they shouldn't. I think they should stay far away. I think that
especially for
needs
women
to
like
continue.
this.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to point out is where is like they said, oh, men are on notice that they can't just get drunk and grope you. Well, then why are you complaining that they aren't getting drunk and groping you? Like these four women are saying, we told men they can no longer get drunk and grope us. Why aren't they getting drunk and groping us?
Yeah.
Like are you
We put them on
dumb?
notice.
Are you
Also, they
dumb?
have all the power.
We put them on notice to stop doing the thing. Why have they stopped doing the thing that we put them on notice to stop doing?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are morons. Okay.
gentle, goofy, self-deprecating, rather deferential, a passionate humanist, a sweet guy, a good guy. He tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the tainted category of men, and it is perfect.
Okay, so this is important, I think. So she says that she has a type. I'm reading it so you guys can hear it better. Because sometimes the AI reading of it pauses in places that make the sentence sound weird. She says, I have a type. He is gentle, goofy, self-deprecating, rather deferential, a passionate humanist, a sweet guy, a good guy. So basically a simp, okay? He tends to signal in various ways his exemption from the tainted category of men, and it is perfectly understandable that he would wish to do so. So she wants a man who basically doesn't like who he is, or at least wants to distance himself from what people think of when they think of men.
Yeah, she wants a penis without the man attached.
Yeah.
Or a penis and the man attached is as small as possible, because she is a predator.
Perfectly understandable that he would wish to do so. It must be mildly embarrassing to be a straight man, and it is incumbent upon each of them to mitigate this embarrassment in a way that feels authentic to him. One of the reasons my marriage ended.
You know
was that I
what?
fell in love
Why is it incumbent on these men to do this in order to have relationships with women like you? Like, I'm going to sell men. You don't, yeah, just, you, one of these things you can get rid of. And why do you have to invite these women into your life? And it sounds like the men that these women are engaging with are coming to the correct conclusion. They're looking at them and they're saying, no. And I don't know how old this woman is. I think she's in her 40s. But
she's a loser.
Yeah, she's a loser.
She's a loser. She's a loser.
She's a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a loser.
But we'll get into it more. I didn't finish the article, but I can tell you right now, she's a loser. Like,
yeah, I did finish the article, and I can tell you
she is essentially
confirm.
the female equivalent of an incel, but like one that is so defiantly sure that she isn't. She's like, defiantly confident in her like her let's say her worth, her quality as a person. She is doomed. She has done this to herself.
She's not just a female incel. She's like, and many women enter this particular category. She's a female Elliot Rodger.
Yeah, she's a spinster.
Yes. No. It's because the thing is that she's not just incapable of getting a man interested in her sexually, apparently. She is also self-righteous about her actual desirability in the way that Elliot Rodger
stuff,
was.
though. She can't get a man to commit because that's what she really wants, but she keeps acting like she doesn't.
Are you sure? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll get into it later, but okay. I'll play
all right.
With another man, whom I'll refer to by his first initial. Jay, spontaneously graceful, with a soft voice and an inordinate sad-eyed smile, Jay made me laugh, stopping my breath. Being a good guy, he intimated from the jump that he did not know how to do relationships, giving me to understand that if I expected one with him or, as he may have conceptualized it from him, I did so at my peril, which was his peril too, since he would hate to hurt me. Still, he pursued me. We seem to be doing something together. I keep encountering and hearing about men who can't. Have these men not heard of Don't Want To? Editor's picks. The 23 best.
Oh, I gotta jump.
Yeah, that's just AI slot.
Yeah. It's
you
reading
can skip
everything.
about 15 seconds ahead.
My husband and I had an open relationship at the time that Jay and I met.
Of course.
So here's the other thing. Okay, so she's got a husband. She's in an open relationship with him, the husband. So she's obviously like getting laid. That's not seems to be an issue. And she's also in the midst of a divorce with her husband when she starts seeing this other guy, Jay, who
No, I think she saw Jay before she got divorced.
I think she will well, there's some overlap. Yeah, my husband and I had an open relationship at the time, and that Jay and I met.
Yep.
So yeah. So she met him while she was like, but now she's in the midst of a divorce and she's getting ghosted by dudes. I mean, she's like a walking red flag. But anyway.
Yeah, gigantic walking
were at first limited. And although Jay exerted a pleasant pressure against these limitations, ultimately they suited him. I was the one who violated the terms by finding it intolerable, after a while, to care that much, in that way, for one person while being married to another. I could not disambiguate sex from love, nor love from devotion, futurity, family integration, things I wanted from Jay, even as throughout the year and a half or so that we saw each other.
So she said, this is what I'm saying, like, I think she's obviously really confused. She said, let me see if I can find it in the written version so I can read it. I could not disambiguate sex from love, nor love from devotion, futurity, family integration, things I wanted with or from Jay. Even as throughout the year and a half or so that we saw each other, he continued to gesture to his incapacity to commit as if it were a separate being, an unfortunate child who followed and relied upon him, maybe, or a physical restraint. So she wanted commitment. She's like, I can't separate these things. She wants to be able to separate these things. She wants to be able to just have like, sex with guys and have an open relationship. But she said, I'm unable to disambiguate sex from love, nor love from devotion, futurity, family integration. So she wants that. But she's trying to have her cake and eat it too. Surprise, surprise, a woman wants to have her cake and eat it too. And this isn't working out. And I think that Jay probably doesn't like this arrangement at all, but we are not going to know what his opinion is. So
well, he obviously is willing to have sex with this woman, but not have a relationship with her. And lady, the way you treated your husband probably gave Jay a very big window into the kind of person you actually were. And also, he said repeatedly, I'm not the relationship type. Right?
Yeah.
And she just ignored that. And then I guess she left her husband in order to pursue Jay, and Jay was like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
He continued to gesture to his incapacity to
You're
commit,
right. She's a
as if it were a
loser.
Shit, that's what I'm saying. She's a loser.
separate being, an unfortunate child who followed and relied upon him, maybe, or a physical constraint. I stood there reaching for him while he sad faced back at me like a boxed mime. He couldn't talk about it. He wished things were different. Maybe someday the child would mature, the glass would break. But for now, there was really nothing to be done. It seemed.
So now,
What?
now this Jay guy is a child that's not mature.
No, he's a child. Even though he was honest with you from the start, and you were not honest with him. He gave you the terms from the start, and you did not accept them. You just got lost in your own high school fantasy of the world while the men around you were explaining how it worked. And then you pursued your high school fantasy around the world, and then Jay said, nope, terms haven't changed. And he's the child. You're right, Brian. This is like, she's just a loser. She's a loser.
Yeah.
She's a loser with a platform on New York Times.
That's right. When women are losers, the New York Times gives them a platform. With men, when men struggle, we basically have the FBI monitor them. So, yeah, we put them on watch lists.
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect. And
perfect
this
sense.
loser
Completely legitimate.
adds nothing to human society. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
She is a net liability. Jay probably has a job that it's entirely possible that has necessity as a part of it. Right?
Yep.
This woman, she probably got an avocado toast job.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's some job that's going to be replaced by AI. Okay, I got another super chow. Sean Mao gives us $5 and says maturity wall in women usually after 30 years old. I've noticed women frequently realize the selfishness and immaturity in fictions such as Gilmore Girls and Sex and the City sometime after young adulthood. Upon realizing this, they are horrified. Yeah, I think this woman's like middle-aged though. I think that the delusion 40s. Can go for far past their 20s. You hope that women grow out of this stuff, but a lot of them don't.
You know, in my experience, there are women who can see through this crap, and there are women who get lost in it. And yeah, it's just age doesn't necessarily matter. Maybe some of these women will grow up when they go through menopause, but you know, I wouldn't put stock in it. It's not foolproof, because there's no incentive for these women to wake up to reality. Mm-hmm. There's none. I mean, they are being presented with reality, but women have the psychological trick of being presented with reality and then blaming men instead of saying, oh, hey, I have to deal with reality as it stands. They're saying, oh, poor booby boo-boo. These men are afraid because of Me Too. They're stopped doing the things that we told them to stop doing as a result of Me Too. They're anxious as a result. Oh, poor little men. And as long as women embrace shaming men instead of taking accountability, they don't grow. They remain perpetual children. I mean, even the whole thing about, oh, you know what your mother's for, but what's your dad for? My dad was the one who, when I was really struggling in school with literacy. He's the one who taught me to read and write, right? He's the one who encouraged my writing and my drawing and helped me do crafts. You know, a father is for developing you as a person. And if you had a father who did that, you'd know. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I got a super chat from Albatross for 5, and he says, crocodiles, dang, why aren't those wildebeests and antelopes not crossing the river? They seriously need to man up and just jump in. Yeah, thank you. All right.
It seems to me, surveying the field as a dating novice, that this kind of studiously irreproachable male helplessness abounds. I keep encountering and hearing about men who can't. Have these men not heard of? Don't want to? Maybe my friend was right about male anxiety at this moment. Maybe the men
Yeah,
are
because
taking
you know why they don't do that? Because women are social landmines. When men start saying, like Jay, I'm not going to do that. That is not what I want. You ignore him. And you attempt to force him into your box, literally and metaphorically, against his express wishes of how he wants to conduct himself. So I totally understand why these men are like, oh, I have anxiety, and then ghost. You know what that is? It's sort of like a lizard ejecting its tail and then running. Like, they are trying, literally, they are managing you, ladies. They are giving off a vibe that they know will cut off attraction. You know, if a guy wants to ghost a woman and he doesn't want her to go bunny boiler on his ass, what does he do? Oh, I was crying at the latest episode of whatever. Oh, I just have anxiety. You know, that's what they're doing. They're cutting off your attraction to them so that they don't have to deal with the crazy anymore. I've heard guys who handle women that they do this. They have tricks for nullifying women's attraction so they can eject them from their life. And that's what these men are doing. It has nothing to, you're right, Brian. These men probably don't have anxiety. And if they did, these women are absolutely reprehensible for shaming. Isn't this ableism? Shaming men who have psychological issues? Like, that's disgusting. But regardless, it sounds more like these men have figured out how to become the gray man in these women's lives and then just disappear. They sense the crazy, they eject their tail and disappear. Like,
yep.
Oh man.
Okay, let's keep going.
low, unsure of how to want, how to talk, how to woo. Maybe they are punishing us for the confusion. There are many roots to the species of disappointment I am circling here. But however,
maybe they are punishing us for the confusion. So like men don't feel, maybe they're punishing women by avoiding them because they're confused, is what she's suggesting. She apparently thinks so.
All right.
All right, let's keep going.
Whenever we get there, the complaint is so common, such a cultural and narrative staple, that the Academy is weighing in. We now have a fancy word, hetero-pessimism, to describe the outlook of straight women fed up with the mating behavior of men. Coined by the sexuality scholar Asa Saracen, who later amended it to heterofatalism, the term seems at first glance to distill a mood that is no less timely for being timeless.
So heteropessimism, coined by the sexuality scholar Asa Saracen, who I'm going to look up right now, University of Pennsylvania Department of English, works and lives in London, writer and researcher. Oh, it's a dude whose work focuses on issues of gender and sexuality, particularly heterosexuality, as well comedy, art, genre, and psychoanalysis. He's a PhD candidate in English at the University of Pennsylvania and is concurrently writing a non-academic book about divorce. He holds a BA in comparative literature and gender and sexuality studies from Harvard and an MPhil, I guess, in English from Cambridge. Okay.
I'm going to apologize. I have to get an aspirin.
Yeah, it's fine. So Asa Saracen wrote about it, therefore it's real. And apparently this person is invested in divorce and hetero pessimism. So I guess he's getting what he needs out of this, you know. Let's see what else I can dig up while Alison's getting some stuff here. So yeah, Asa Saracen. Why is Gen Z so sex negative? He has a Twitter, so let's see what his X is. Oh, his account's gone. Never mind. Yeah. So anyway, a sex
I hope this isn't gonna get us yeeted off of YouTube. Me taking an aspirin on air.
Really?
Oh, who knows?
Yeah. Well, anyway. So yeah, this person coined a term and now it's real. So anyway.
You know, I am 27 years married. I am never going to be in the dating sphere, and this is giving me a sympathetic headache for men. Like,
yeah.
God grief. The only thing you can do is this. The only thing you can do is ghost. If you want, play the game, ghost, learn the tricks. Another trick is offer them a relationship or become really needy, and they will cut you out. They just want the opportunity to say no to having a relationship. That's what this woman probably is at too. It wasn't necessarily that she wanted a relationship with Jay. She just wanted the opportunity to say no to having a relationship. That's a possibility, because some women operate that way too. All right, let's keep going.
It was really nice. A close friend texted me recently, reporting on her third date with a lawyer. He's really, really sweet and nice to me and good at sex. No doubt something humiliating and nightmarish will occur soon. On more than one occasion, when my friend checked in with the lawyer to confirm tentative plans, he did not respond to her for many hours or even a day. Granted,
okay, I remember this.
But, my friend reasoned, it takes 90 seconds to send a quick reply. The dissonance.
Okay, I just remember listening
to
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so we had this like high flying lawyer. He does everything right, but he's not responding to this chick's text fast enough. My God, ladies.
Yes, and she says
you
that
sabotage yourselves all the time.
Something horrible is going to happen. This woman is like, I'm in this relationship with a high-flying lawyer. The sex is great. He's very attentive, but something horrible is going to happen. Yes, you are going to happen to you. You are going to find a reason to reject this guy or to make him extremely nervous about you. Right? You are going to construct your own destruction.
Yep. She sounds like a bunny boiler.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going.
In-person behavior and these silences confused her, and she mentioned this to him. The lawyer was sorry he had kept her waiting. He hadn't meant to. But, he said, her complaint had got him thinking. He unfortunately wasn't able to escalate whatever was happening between them into a relationship. My friend clarified that she had not
he was
asked him to escalate anything, merely expressing a need for clarity about plans. He understood.
Oh God, you
skills were obviously too different for them to continue dating.
Well, you fucked up. You
fucked yourself up.
Yep.
And this dude was like, "Yeah, I don't need this in my life." Like, okay, he's attentive in person, but he doesn't text. Like, on my phone, I think the last text I've received from Jonathan was like 10 years ago. Okay, it doesn't matter if he doesn't text. In your little woman squirrel brain, what you do is you say, okay, I got to step through his day. He's extremely busy. He's probably responding to all kinds of stuff. If he's a high-powered lawyer, he's going to have periods where he cannot respond to me, but he sets aside time where he's very attentive to me. I need to do my own thing when he's busy. I need to occupy my time with something other than grooming my sexual identity, right? I need to do hobbies or maybe a job. Like, obviously her job doesn't really keep her that busy if she can be hysterical about this guy not texting her while he's at work. Like, this is the most you sabotaged yourself, and I'm glad that man realized it. I'm glad that man sensed that this was the first control freak behavior from you. And then he jettisoned you. Boom. Gone. Yep. And this is great. I'm glad guys are starting to act like this. Yeah, get rid of these women before you get into serious relationships with them. Just get rid of them. Like, every single woman described in this article needs to go back into the oven and bake for another 18 years before she's ready to engage in any kind of sexual or romantic relationship with another human being. They're all losers.
Yeah. Albatross gave us $2 super chat and says, girls are annoyed, guys are adopting their tactics. Well, I think there are men who don't have to put up with that stuff. Like, if you're like a lawyer and you're making good money, probably a good looking guy, you know, and a woman's starting to get clingy or act weird, I think that he's in a position where he can just be like, nah, this isn't working. And it's ironic because these women also claim they want men that are like, you could say, easier to control, which is what self-deprecating and kind of, you know, humanistic. But like, this guy's not that. Like, he works hard. He probably like plays hard, and maybe at some point he'll settle down, but he's not in a hurry. And this woman wanted to be that. She wanted to be the one. That's really all it is. But they don't have the humility to look in them, you know, to look at themselves and say, you know what? I'm the one who did this. I'm a failure.
Yes.
I should get my shit together.
Yeah, you know, instead they say things like, I know something horrible is going to happen. The meteorite is
and they'll blame him. They'll blame him. They'll say, oh, he just didn't, he wasn't ready for a woman like me. That's all it is. He wasn't ready to commit.
Let's hear what
I'm intimidating. Yeah, let's keep going.
The humiliating and nightmarish part, she explained to me, was not so much the rejection as being cast against her will as woman eager for relationship. In her memoir, Fierce Attachments, Vivian Gornick describes the anguish.
You know what's really interesting about that? Is it is an elaboration of something like a theory that or conjecture that I've been working on, that women take an identity from being the ones who reject, being the ones who are desired and being the ones who reject. And what happened there is she ended up being the one she was rejecting it. And the thing is that it's not the loss of the relationship that bothers her. It's the fact that she was framed as the one who was rejected. Isn't that fascinating?
No, I've seen that. Where girls will be in a relationship, and the entirety of the relationship becomes defined by whether she or the other guy has more power in said relationship. So that will be like one of the, and that's like bad news. Like, bad news bears, get out of there. But I've seen that where, I got him wrapped around my finger, I got him doing whatever, and you know, that it's like a self-affirming thing. And if it comes down to it and that guy says, I don't want to see you anymore, that, like, despite all of the shaming, they can't stand the idea that they're the ones that got dumped. You know, they want to be the one that dumps. So, okay.
Yep. Female friend. What I couldn't absorb, she writes, was his plunging us back into the cruelty of old-fashioned man-woman stuff, turning me into a woman who waits for a phone call that never comes, and himself into the man who must avoid the woman who is waiting.
So men can't reject you without being somehow immoral? God damn. These women are not, there has to be a new word for creatures like this. They're genetically dysfunctional. She not only is a loser because she cannot conceive of another human being and how they do, she also is like an extra loser because if that human being rejects her, somehow that is the patriarchy, which is immoral. Did you hear what she just said? Women being rejected by men is patriarchy. I guess we'll need a government program to end that. Put those men who reject women on a watch list. Maybe some drone strikes will help the situation out. Like, what the freaking hell? He rejected you. Get over it. And he rejected you for good reason, because you started to act like a control freak.
Yep.
Image. Credit. Illustration by Kristina Tsikova. I'm really done, my friend said. I can't keep doing this. I don't want to be hurt and misunderstood constantly. I need to find some other way to live. I agreed without thinking about it. This is part of the pessimism, right? The feeling that further thinking about all of this is futile. Surely we have done enough thinking by now. I wish I could just be gay with you, she said. And I said I wish that too.
Oh man, you would be
This
a
was like a
lesbian
commiserative
couple that
routine.
end up killing each other.
I wish I could be gay with you. Wow. Wow.
But-
That's
But you know what the ultimate
serious
problem is?
narcissism. I want to be valued by someone. It's so important to me, even if it's in like a relationship that I'm normally not for. I mean, you know, because if she was gay, then she would just be gay.
Oh, it's worse than that, I think.
Yeah.
They want to get stuff from men, but give nothing.
Mhm.
Like they do not want men to have the ability to choose. They don't want men to have the ability to consent, because they find men's consent itself to be an act of oppression. These are predators. Like I said at the beginning that these are predators. I think at this point it is confirmed. These are predators. These people, are they people? Because I don't think they have a human understanding of theory of mind, at least when it applies to men. Right? Maybe that's what that whole thing was. What is a man for? I understand what mom is, but what's dad? That's because you don't have a theory of mind when it comes to men. You don't even see them as people, which means you're not people. Like
Yeah.
this is just awful. Like these are terrifying creatures. This is like the freaking, I don't know, the dimension of the elder gods just belched something up and these creatures slithered out. All
All
right.
right, let's keep going.
Saracen might call our performative disaffiliation with heterosexuality our spin on take my wife, please. Take my straightness, please. Take my attraction to men. Is heterofatalism a useful concept? I took it up for a while, considered the positions. The writer and gender scholar Sarah Ahmed has advanced the idea of complaint as feminist pedagogy, arguing that to bitch is inherently transgressive, a form of resistance. While the philosophy professor
Bitching is
Ellie Anderson
transgressive
suggests
for women. guys.
Bitching is a feminist act. Yes, I agree.
But it's
Feminism
also
is right about
transgressive.
something. Complaining is a feminist act of defiance. It's transgressive. And if you don't like it, then you're a misogynist. Okay? I mean, you guys are really running out of ideas. Like,
Yeah, all I hear is a
feminism
bunch
is
of
really running out of
justifications.
ideas.
Justifications for rape and abuse when a woman does it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Complaining, bitching. It's a feminist superpower. We know. So, and I like how they think it's unique. It's like, no, women have been doing it since Eve. So I don't know what you're talking about. Huh?
In the special chat says, I wondered if you all would cover this article's NYT, The Trouble with Wanting Men. First saw it on Raymond Thoughts. It's so long, makes no sense, and just makes women look awful. Yeah, I've been thinking about that because the thing is, periodically I get accused of radicalizing men. You know,
Mhm.
like Honey Badger Radio gets accused of radicalizing men. I'm like, I don't think we're what's radicalizing men. I mean, if you
I
don't
don't
want
think
men
men
to
are
be
radical at
radicalized,
all. I don't even think,
no, I
despite
don't.
everything, men have it under control. They haven't risen up just yet.
No, well, I mean, okay, radical according to their definition of
Sure,
radical.
yeah, definitely. Being
I don't think that. Okay, essentially being
the ability to
disenchanted with women,
criticize, yeah,
the
being
ability
able
to
to criticize
criticize
women.
and resist being blamed by women constantly, being disenchanted by women. This does like that's not really radical by any stretch of the imagination, but they consider it radical. I don't
Mhm.
think we are the ones who are disenchanting men with women, are causing men to be disenchanted with women. I don't think it's us. I don't think it is. I think if you want men to remain enchanted with women, maybe you should listen to Paul telling women not to speak in public. because more women speak in public.
That was wisdom, Alison. I don't care what anybody says, but like there's a reason why that was written. And like, nobody said we should probably amend this Bible. No, leave that in. That's
no, leave that in.
That's important.
And that's important.
Sorry. This is why they always go after like Afghanistan and shit. Like, well, what about the women in Afghanistan? Well, maybe they got something right. Maybe Islam is right about women too. And maybe you don't want to confront that. Like, I'm not for their methods, but there's probably a philosophical backing to what they do there that, you can look at and say, oh, yeah, I get it, guys. I wouldn't do it, but I understand where you're coming from. So I'm just saying, like,
yeah, well,
it's hard for
honestly,
me to be sympathetic.
It's a society that constantly gets invaded. So it's pretty much reframed around women produce and provide logistics and men fight. So maybe stop invading them if you want them to relax into a more relaxed form of Islam, shall we say. Okay, let's go. Mm-hmm.
That women venting their dating woes constitutes a kind of negativity as rebellion. Was that what my friends and I were doing over dinner? Rebelling? The humiliating and nightmarish part was not so much the
No, you're not. What is this rebelling?
Relationship.
Huh?
What are you rebelling against? The fact that men are saying no to you? That's the act of rebellion.
The patriarchy.
Smash the patriarchy. Take away men's ability to consent. Put them on a list. Drone strikes, man. Like what? What is this nonsense that I'm listening to? I don't even think incels get this weird.
No.
Do they? Like, no.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I haven't really gone on many incel forums, but this is truly deranged. They are literally saying it is immoral for men not to consent to them. What? Are you fucking mental? You're rebelling against men having opinions about what they do with their penises. So you're a bunch of rapists.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to start getting the idea that men should be able to consent to stuff. You know what I mean? Like men should be able to consent or not consent to things. We need to stop being a society that just assumes that men consent to whatever we tell them to do. Because this is disturbing. What these women are doing is disturbing. Okay.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, I got it.
Experts say my romantic letdowns have some larger social significance. I am not going to argue. The men I want are not wanting me badly enough, not communicating with me clearly enough, not devoting themselves to me. All this certainly seems calamitous enough to warrant an ism, and if it is an
what
ism,
the
problem
fuck?
cannot be me.
The problem cannot be me. It's impossible, guys. Inconceivable.
You were married and you fucked it up. Right? That's what happened. And now you are never going to get a man to commit to you the way that your husband was willing to commit to you. Never. He was willing to commit to you for life. Now you'll probably get a man who will commit to you for a week, a night. Good luck. You fucked your life up. And no, you aren't owed anything from men. You're not owed their sexuality. You aren't owed their relationships. You're not owed their attention. You're not owed their desire. And it is freaking weird that you think that you can dictate how much they desire you. You are an utter control freak. These women are beyond losers. They're some kind of mental criminals. Okay.
It can't be me. It can't be. See, this is how you know she's going to keep failing.
It must be men, right? Men are what is rotten in the state of straightness, and why shouldn't we have an all-inclusive byword for our various pessimisms about them? Domestic pessimism, they still do less of the housework and childcare. Partner violence pessimism, femicide is still gruesomely routine. Erotic pessimism,
no, it isn't.
Properties.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, somebody gave a really it is 100 times more likely for a kid to be born transgender than for a woman to be murdered by a family member.
Really?
Like, yes. This is perishingly rare. The rate at which women are murdered by family members is perishingly rare.
I mean, I believe it.
But
It's a
and
crazy stat
also
to compare it to.
the chores thing, men are still doing more of the earning, right? And they still, like, in relationships, men do more work overall between earning and chores than women do. So let it go. But they
Wow,
won't.
dude.
They want more and more reasons to reject men because it makes them feel good, while defining themselves by men's desire. And then calling women like me a pick-me.
Okay.
Still elude many of them, and the petulantly proud masculinist subcultures that have arisen, at least in part, as reactions to these pessimisms keep coughing up new reasons to fear, rage against, and complain about men. But those men are not the men my friends and I are.
How did this escalate here? We went from men saying no to you to domestic violence done by men. Is that domestic violence done by men? How does this relate to that? You had a bunch of men who said no, I'm not interested. Well, or various ways of saying no that put it back on them, so they don't have to deal with the obvious crazy that you women represent, right? And now we're talking about all of this other shit that does not apply to men saying no to you. Like, how does this apply?
Well, she's trying to justify her being a loser by saying, "Oh, I see. It's a systemic problem. It's out of my control. It's men are bad everywhere. That's why they're not calling me back. And here's a bunch
Men
of
say no.
bullshit I'm going to spew to help support my claim." But she's not trying to convince anybody but herself. I think, like, no one's going to read this shit. Like, I'm surprised we're reading it, sort of. Really what we do. But
Yeah, but
she's not trying to change my mind. She's trying to convince herself, like, I'm not a loser.
Yeah, you got a
She's a
point. She's
loser.
trying to convince herself.
You have to let your ego die and, like, rebuild. You have to rebuild. You're
rebuild
a loser.
from the
So you
foundation.
change that.
But the problem is that she'd have to face how much she destroyed of herself.
Yes, she would. She would. That is hard and it hurts, but it's the only way. It's the only way.
But I just am astounded. Yeah, men are saying no to you. It must be patriarchy. It must be part of a systemic. Is men saying no to me sexually? It must be part of a systemic oppression of women.
Mm-hmm.
Good God. The government needs to stop that. They need to stop. The government needs to stop men from saying no to me. Again, not sure I've ever heard an incel say that.
Yeah.
I guess this is what sexual frustration paired with terminal entitlement looks like. The government needs to stop men from saying no to me. Because that's where she's going. Like, we've had government interventions on all of these other hetero-pessimisms, right? So now we need a government intervention to force men to choose women. It's a draft. It's a new draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Oh, I got
Losers.
another super chat. Richard Bier gives us 5 and says, "Remember when there were these writers that would be hanging around in coffee shops with their laptops, occupying a table because they needed an audience to see that they were writing instead of doing any writing of any actual quality? Now these products have been accepted for publication." Well, yes, it's been that way for the last, like, 10 years, though, at least, if not longer. Okay, let's keep going.
Feeling bleak about. It's the sweet, good ones. Damn it. I would like to believe there is something purposeful, resistant, even radical in the heterofatalist mode. But the more I voice it, the more I am inclined to agree with Saracen, that it can produce nothing but more of itself. Heterosexuality is nobody's personal problem, he writes. It doesn't make sense to extricate your own straight experience from straightness as an institution. It isn't that my friend needs to find some other way to live, it's that we all do.
Straightness as an institution? So
she's a victim of being straight. I don't know.
No, straightness is a system that oppresses women like her. That's why she's a failure at dating.
Oh,
That's why
I
she can't
got it.
keep a man,
Oh,
because straightness is keeping her down. Like, this is what losers do. They look at their situation, and instead of saying, how can I improve? How can I, like, what is it that I have to learn about myself that will help me navigate the world so that I can, again, that will require introspection. And again, I know it can be painful. And the longer you invest in these bad ideas, this bad way of living, the harder it is to undo, because you've been living this way for so long. And you could do that, but it's worth it. It's going to suck, but it's worth it. Or you can just construct this idea that there's this thing, this system, and the system is what's hurting you. It's an abstract thing. It's society. When we should go to society's house and arrest society and throw society in jail because it's keeping me from finding a good man. This is what this is. And there are people who are paid a lot of money to write books about this. They have like pieces of paper on their wall, and they write books about these systems of abstractions that control people and keep them from achieving happiness. And fortunately, the best part about all this is that you don't have to take responsibility. You can just blame the system. She is saying that straightness is a system of oppression, not the way that we've just lived as a species that, mates with other people and like makes more people. No. That's a system, guys. It's keeping us down.
okay. And what's the solution? Because she's also saying, she's
Oh,
also set up this victimhood, that she is a victim of her straightness, that she can't change it. So what's the solution? Government mandated draft of marriageable men, I guess. And these men shouldn't be able to say no to her. Like, all of this bullshit is inspired by men saying no to her. That's it. And her friends. That's it. So the problem with straightness is that men can say no. Do you see the logic, Brian?
yeah.
The problem with the hetero hetero negativity or whatever is because straight men have an opinion about who they get to have sex with. That's part of a system of oppressing her. This is sick. This is flipping sick.
Here's my prediction.
Human being.
I'm going to get a prediction because I haven't finished this article. My prediction is she doesn't propose a solution at all, because like all feminist articles or these op-eds, it's not about solving any problems. It's just about the act of complaining. And the purpose of that is to essentially it's like, we got to have a conversation about having a conversation. And it's just meant to demoralize whoever reads it, because you're supposed to think nothing can be done. That's what I think.
But instead of looking for it, we disaffected women perform for one another this mutually enabling kind of maintenance, periodically off-gassing some of the shame and frustration of dating men, and then chugging along with
Men saying no to you.
Whatever Saracen's vision is, most of us can neither renounce our heterosexuality, nor realize a significant renegotiation of its terms. What we can do, at least for now,
the
is
significant
negotiate with ourselves.
renegotiation of its terms is the obligation to actually get your partner's consent, even if he's a man. That's what this is all about, fundamentally. They are in a death battle with the fact that men aren't consenting to them.
Well, they want men to pursue them, but they want men to pursue them on their terms, which they don't want to have to tell men what those things are. They want men to
They are in a death battle with the idea that men are their own entity that makes choices that they do not approve of. And the biggest demonstration of men being an entity that makes choices that they don't approve of is men rejecting them. That is like it. These individuals cannot conceive of men as people, as having thoughts and minds. And this hetero negativity is the recognition that men can say no. Because I think that's the biggest thing, because they identify with rejecting men. So if a man rejects them, it's like an existential, being plunged into existential horror for them. So that is the pinch point, because think about what all of these women have been talking about. I was rejected by a man. 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 Oh, this is heteronegativity. It's the recognition that men can reject us.
Yeah.
And
It's
we need to
heterofatalism.
renegotiate. Well, I can't see how we can renegotiate terms. Yeah. Yeah, because maybe there's a little light of freaking humanity in you that recognizes that taking away men's ability to reject you is wrong, even though you seem to want to frame it as some kind of violation of you. Oh, men are rejecting me. That's patriarchal oppression. That's a violation. This is like the anti-Me Too. Okay. I really have to I'm going to have to cut this off pretty soon. So.
Okay. Well, we'll just listen to a bit more. We could also do a part 2 on this if you wanted to. Or I can jump ahead to like the conclusion.
Yeah, let's. I don't
like
remember this.
Fucking.
Oh God, yes. I mean, no. Let's keep going. Let's do as much as we can, because I remember this was astounding dribble.
We can try to dodge old-fashioned man-woman stuff by acting hopeless about relationships rather than eager for them. Maybe this is the utility of heterofatalism.
Wait a second. When she says old man woman stuff, what she means is women being rejected by men. So women seeking something from men and being rejected. But wasn't the
women
old
having
man
to earn
woman,
men's company too?
Yeah, wasn't the old man woman stuff men pursuing women? And then all the Me Too thing was like, don't do that. Don't get drunk and grope us anymore. Don't pursue us anymore. You know, we don't like that. Leave us alone. But now that women have to pursue men, it's the old man woman stuff, and it's bad. It's almost like you did something to the dynamic. You got a new dynamic in which you have to put yourself out there more or get nothing, and you're not liking it because you're finding that men can say no, that you can pursue, which is what each of these women has said. I pursued a man. I wanted something from a man. He said no, and got rid of me, right? So they're doing the pursuing, but that you've changed the dynamic, so you have to pursue, and now it's some sort of gigantic crisis. Do you're picking that up?
Yeah. Yeah.
That the terms have to be changed because now you're finding out that men can reject you. And you're calling it old man and woman stuff? Well, I thought the old man woman stuff was men pursuing, and you didn't like that, so you got rid of it. But I don't know. It's disingenuous. It's self-serving.
Sure.
Everything that this comes out of this woman's mouth is self-serving.
Yep.
Okay. To swallow it and put on a carefree smile. Nice to meet you, good guy. I am woman who expects nothing. I was doubled over laughing, briefly tasting the knee of my jeans, while the man next to me on the sectional couch strummed a guitar and did a spot-on imitation of Bruce Springsteen. He had that lifting something heavy moan down cold, and he was improvising a song about work. American work in the American heartland, hyperbolically tough and tragic male work. Because I was losing it, he kept going, and I kept losing it, and at a certain point I wasn't sure if I was overpowered by amusement or just overpowered by him. On the way to his place, I had been texting with my aunt. Word from an expert, she wrote. Wait till he wants it so bad he's nutsy cuckoo. Sounds facile, but man, truer words were never spoken. Make him suffer, is my mantra.
So basically, make him like want it, but like make him wait. Keep him, I guess he's gonna leave her. But anyway, let's keep going.
I kept catching myself staring at his mouth, his bottom
Is this
lip.
really working for you, though?
Slow down. He needed time to get a better sense of how I worked. I lay back to murmur, let him try stuff, and he warmed to his own control, putting his mouth right up to mine, then pulling away when I tried to engage his tongue. I see what you are, he said finally, pinning my forearms. You're a bratty sub. He held himself there, just out of reach, breathing on me. I like to make you wait, he said. He did make me wait. I stood at the slot machine watching those cherries and fat yellow coins blur by, and they didn't stop. He was sweet with me in person, impulsive about biting my nose, but for stretches I wouldn't hear from him.
Biting your
Or I would,
nose?
but only perfunctorily. And then, suddenly, he would pop up, requesting clarification on what a man feels or wants or sees happening here has gotten me burned before, as it has many women I know. I have learned to regard such demands as demanding in a feminized way, simultaneously
This is
bossy and
entirely
self-loathing, a reinscribing of the bratty sub
this is
position.
entirely
Taking
your
my cues from
construction,
him.
ladies.
Yeah.
This is entirely your construction. You asked for more and more power over men because you were scared of them or whatever reason. And now the honest to God truth is that men know that once they become available to you, they are screwed. Once
Mhm.
they settle down, they are screwed. This is what you have incentivized. This kind of pop goes the weasel behavior that men won't be pinned down. You've incentivized situationships, and part of it is because women take an identity from rejecting men. So as soon as he commits, he puts himself in a position to be rejected, which, it's like putting a gigantic roast, rare mass of red meat in front of a tiger. So as soon as a man commits to a woman, it's like he's thrown a bleeding meat into a tiger cage. It's only a matter of time before she gets that itch to reject, which is what you did to your husband. Like the one man in all of this that committed to her, she left. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
She rejected. The one man who made a solid commitment to her, she walked away from. And then all of these other men who are just dangling the carrot and just being like, oh, well, pop goes the weasel. Maybe you'll see me. Maybe you won't. All of these other men, she is trying to pursue. But, women think that men are stupider than they are. They think men are stupid. Men are not stupid. At least a lot of men aren't stupid. They know you. They know who you are. They know that once they commit to you, you are going to the clock is going to start ticking down on that irresistible desire to reject. And eventually you're going to do it. So they play these peekaboo games with you because they know they can't commit to you. And lots of women are like this now, are giving this impression to men. And men
Yeah.
know they can't commit to them because the clock is ticking down for when she is going to start the process of rejecting. Right? And you don't even have to have a divorce in order to reject a man. It could be dead bedroom. It could be constant nagging, taking away his autonomy, that kind of thing. Those forms of rejection. Right? Okay. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to get that out because
No, it's all right. Okay, I got a super chow. I'm going to read it. Zarius gave us 5 and says, regarding the fact that the woman's husband intended to commit to her for life, the oaths of a woman I inscribe on water, Sophocles, 496 BC, 406 BC. That such a quote predates Jesus is amazing. That and the fact that I'm often able to reference as good as it gets quote, I think of a man I take away reason and accountability is incredibly disheartening. I've referenced Aaron Clary's book and the conclusion he made in it about the number of good women available before. The good women are apparently outliers, and the fact that the majority of men will attempt to rise to the occasion to meet those outlier women for a chance to create families suggests to me that humanity's existence is a miracle rather than a given. This sounds like it's a black pill observation, but I consider it a white pill. Thank you for the super chow. I'm gonna close that out. And so I the reason why I think this article is so long is because this woman is kind of like she's going to tell us a bunch of different anecdotes of like the men that she's been with, and it gets a little bit like I don't know, pornographic, I guess, or if she comes close to it, it gets really like steamy. And I think that's kind of a flex on other women that might read it. Like, look at how all these men I could have had, but I didn't. But guess what? It's not my fault because heteropessimism. But I could have had them. So this is more, I think, more female intrasexual competition. It's just a really pathetic version, in my opinion. But anyway, play some more.
I stayed mostly quiet. Call it communication pessimism. On the bed, the female demand male withdraw pattern pulses with sensuality. In life, it sometimes feels like it will drive me out of my senses. When my friend complained about the lawyer, I expressed
Okay, but
outrage at her
wait a
behavior and
second.
worked my way.
So now it's reversed. She just reversed her position. Okay. I think this guy's got her number. She is a bratty. Well, actually, he's being very fair to her. A bratty sub. No, she's a psycho. She's a psycho hose beast.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's okay. Right. But she's
she stopped talking about that guy apparently. So who knows what happened there? He probably just stopped calling her.
Quite naturally and along a well-worn groove to a condemnation of all, most, men as incapable of upholding basic standards of communication and care. I was thinking, of course, about Jay, and I am not proud that my instinctive response to the shame of being gender stereotyped by life is to pay another stereotype forward. Men suck. Groundbreaking. That said, men's struggle to communicate in relationships
told
is
you
widespread enough to
he didn't want a relationship with you. He was clear in every single step, and you are making him out to be the bad guy.
Yep.
Like, okay. All right. I should keep my mouth shut.
It's all right.
To have earned a psychological designation, normative male alexithymia, or the condition of being unable to put words to emotions. This incapacity, Ellie Anderson argues, often forces women who date men to become relationship maintenance experts, solidifying what she cites as the most common communication pattern among heterosexual dating couples. The female demand male withdraw pattern. Woman approaches man to discuss something, man removes himself. On the bed, the female demand male withdraw pattern pulses with sensuality. In life, it sometimes feels like it will drive me out of my senses, and it creates work. Tough, tragic female work. In the 1980s, the sociologist Arlie Russell Hochschild coined the term
men are labor and men are risk.
Yeah, let me tell you something. That lawyer example, she wasn't doing any fucking work. She was demanding he do work. Doing work in that circumstance, doing emotional labor in that circumstance is you're your little girl self. You're sitting and you're like, oh, he hasn't texted me. And you take your little girl self and you use your little girl brain and you imagine, oh, he must be busy. It's not something he's doing intentionally. He's just busy. He's a high-powered lawyer with lots of clients. And he pays attention to me when he sets time aside, he makes me the center of his attention. Therefore, I should just put my phone down and go do something else. That is emotional strength. That is emotional awareness. That is emotional regulation. Not, oh my God, he's not texting me. Oh, what's the horrible things that are happening? Oh, he's having an affair. Oh, no, that is emotional dysregulation. It is not emotional. And you are not doing any kind of emotional labor for him. You are doing the reverse. You are forcing him to do emotional labor. Demanding that a man text you is not emotional labor you're doing for him. That is a demand that he do emotional labor for you. What the hell is wrong with these women? It's like their brains don't work or on backwards, upside down, and inside out.
Yep. All right, let's play some more.
Emotional labor to describe paid work that involves trying to feel the right feeling for the job that is service work, healthcare, education. It must be an indication of our need for more ways to talk about the invisible affective labor that often falls to women that the term has suffered from concept creep, stretching far past that original meaning to crop up in everyday conversations about unequal divisions of labor in our love lives. Anderson gives us a new term, related to but distinct from emotional labor, and more useful in parsing what we might call the micropolitics of dating. She calls the work women do.
Oh my God, micropolitics of dating. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Dating should not be political. Micropolitics sounds like micromanagement. This is insane.
We're watching women consume the very concept of human reproduction. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're just consuming it and fucking shitting it out in an unrecognizable and completely useless form. Good Lord.
Interpret mystifying male cues hermeneutic labor.
Someone
And she
needs to write a
posits it as
book
form of
about
gender
this.
exploitation and intimate relations.
What?
Someone needs to write a book. Like a a book, the book. We'll call it the book. And it should have in it all of the description of this shitty female behavior and how destructive it is. And we should make sure that generations upon generations learn from the book about how shitty female behavior is when it has no standards.
Can we, as long as we can put the word codex in the title,
Yeah.
I just want to use the word codex. So,
That's fine.
if anybody has any suggestion. Okay.
Relationships. The guy dating my friend may have been too busy lawyering to confirm his plans with her. But meanwhile, Anderson might say, my friend was working 2 jobs, one to earn her living, the other as sole manager of an emotional entanglement that was also his. Heterofatalism is partly just burnout.
No, it wasn't his. It wasn't his. Texting him to demand that he do the emotional labor that he doesn't have time for is not his emotional entanglement. And quite honestly, this whatever this ball of fuck these women represent is, and the thing is, like, these women are like a, what is that called to get the ball that gathers up more things?
The Katamari ball.
Yes. This is the Katamari ball of female fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. These women grab more women in, and they're just like this fucking high-pitched, squirrely chatter. Oh my God, these are oh, he's not texting. Oh, he's been he failed the TikTok challenge. Oh my God, and more and more of it gets sucked in. More of our society gets sucked in to the Katamari ball of female fuck.
Yep.
Stranger waiting at my usual back corner table looked a bit squarer than my average date. His hair appeared recently washed and cut, and he wore a button-down shirt. But some restless mischief played in his face, bearing itself fully in his laugh. Our conversation was brisk and jesting.
Yeah,
I got the impression he was enjoying my
she's trying to
company,
be
but
a
that this was
writer.
more bonus than criterion for him. He was partnered already, he had told me, and seeking only companionate sex. His dating profile referenced this clearly below a picture of him wearing a blue blazer and petting a donkey's head.
So she keeps fucking around with dudes that are already involved with other people. And I think that she's a loser because she thinks they're going to leave their partners for her. And they say up front what they expect. And she goes along with it anyway. And then catches feelings. And
she catches
maybe you're just not cut out for this. Maybe that's just not good for you. Maybe you should just
no. This is not feelings. This is just egotistical, narcissistic control vibes.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
honestly,
I think those are feelings too, but yeah.
Well, yeah, they're psycho feelings. They're the feelings of a reptile, but I don't think these are mammalian feelings that she's finding.
Yeah.
I honestly think that she, I don't know, she might be a home wrecker.
Maybe.
Because it does seem to be like she's uniquely attracted to men who are attached or men who say upfront, we're not having a relationship. So it's almost like she's like a woman who wants to turn the gays straight, except she wants to turn these guys into husband material. But she's not going to do that. Oh man, okay.
All right.
We turned eventually to the subject of erotic temperament. He was interested in the possibilities that arise between people when any eventuality of marriage, procreation, or fidelity was, so to speak, taken off the bed. What might then happen in that bed? In that community? In that world? Watching his clean-cut boyish form and listening to him speak with the eloquent enthusiasm of a connoisseur, the phrase that occurred to me was sex nerd. Many dabblers in non-monogamy were not really, he noted with a laugh, quoting the rapper Pusha T, "'bout dat life." He was. I meet this type around sometimes. Fluent in the language of polyamory, waving his respectful desire around like a plastic lightsaber, pew pew. Why would you play with just one toy when you can take turns with all the toys? While at the same time vaguely subverting.
All right, so you are capitalism, polyamorous or some shit, right? And you have contempt for the men in the land. Don't be this. Like, lady, if you're going to be polyamorous, don't have contempt for the men who take part in your lifestyle, because it sounds more like you want to be able to do whatever the hell you want and control your male partners at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How much time do we have before you need to go?
I probably should get going in about 3 minutes.
Okay. Do you want to listen to more of this, or do you want me to jump to the end of this? I'll try to find the last, because like she just goes into like basically it's just more anecdotes.
Yeah. Maybe we could just pick this up again. Maybe we could finish it up before the Beat Saber on Sunday or something.
Sure.
I think we can get through it faster because okay. Yeah. Sorry guys. I got to go because my husband has a dental appointment, and I should have probably gone half an hour ago. So I need to get ready. If he hasn't taken off already, which he might have done. So we'll try to pick this up again.
Well, do you think he would leave without you?
Like if I was being too much of an asshole and I was making it so it was difficult for him to get to his appointment, yeah.
Yeah.
But he probably would come and say, "Hey, are you gonna?"
Yeah. Finish up then. Finish up.
All right, so we'll finish this up. We'll try for Sunday. We are going to be doing a Beat Saber, so look forward to that. I'm going to ask Brian to set it up a day early so I can send it out to the ones who really like that. And maybe we could send it out early too to the general subscribers. But anyway, look forward to that. We'll try to get this done. We'll go through her entire drivel. I don't know what else to call it. Like this absolute lack of any kind of self-awareness. She's trying to be Sex in the City with no self-awareness. But what was good about Sex in the City was the self-awareness, if there was anything good about it at all. So anyway, feedthebadger.com/justthetip if you want to comment on anything. We will be talking about it when we pick this up and finish it off. So definitely get those comments out there. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And if you want to support the show, feedthebadger.com/support. We are doing a meetup. Calgary, Alberta, Canada, September 13th of this year. If you're interested in information on that, feedthebadger.com/events, and be sure to take a look if you're interested, or if you're going to go at all, because I won't be necessarily making the venue public. You'll have to actually email me, not anybody else. Nobody else is going to give it out. All right. So feedthebadger.com/events. If you're interested in that, everything is in the low bar, and I will hand it back to Brian to do the things.
All right. Well, if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video, because sharing is caring. Thank you guys so much for coming on today's episode of Maintaining Frame, which I changed the title of to match. And we'll talk to you guys in the next one.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.